If you've been worried about higher than expected costs in retirement, you are not alone. I'm Roy Furr. I'm here with Josh Wilkin, a financial advisor with Asset Strategies, and we're going to address this worry head on. Josh, welcome.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, Asset Strategies currently serves over 2,000 clients across 48 states from our offices in Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska. And we're speaking with folks all the time as they're getting to and going through retirement and addressing some of these major worries. So, Josh, I saw this article from MarketWatch and it said the number one fear of retirees today in 2026 is higher than expected costs in retirement. So let's start here. Why do you think that this is such a big and pervasive fear?
Well, I think first and foremost, people are starting to recognize that the cost of living, inflation, is not linear. It's not a constant figure. It's something that can change year to year. And so that by itself creates a little bit of uncertainty. And what will future costs look like? Will it be an inflation rate of 3% or is it going to be an inflation rate of 8%, for example? And so to combat some of that, I find that people who are dealing with this fear, navigating this fear, it's because they don't have a plan. And this is where we see the value of working together with a financial advisor and really looking at somebody's overall financial picture to help them develop a plan to mitigate some of that risk, mitigate some of that volatility, and experience the growth needed to outpace inflation and outpace future costs. And I mean, nothing is guaranteed. As we know, there's going to be some uncertainty in the
Yeah.
future, but the more that we can control that outcome by having a plan and being prepared for those future costs, the better off somebody's going to be and the less anxiety they're going to have about the future.
Okay. So this becomes kind of a standard thing. There's lots of other things that we can think about when it comes to retirement planning. This kind of looking into the future and all the unknowns that exist in all the possible futures, right? Becomes an essential part of retirement planning. So what can I do? Like if I'm entering retirement today, or I'm approaching retirement, or I've started retirement, what can I do to kind of manage this risk and perhaps calm this fear of the unknown, especially when it comes to higher than expected costs?
Again, I think it goes back to having a plan. And there's so many different components to this that have to be addressed in order to adequately be prepared. I think one thing that people have to also acknowledge is when you make that decision to retire, if you're stepping away from work completely, you're going to be living on a semi fixed or completely fixed income in terms of what the next 30, maybe even 40 plus years will look like for your life. And so, really doing a deep dive into the assets that a person has accumulated, what assets they have specifically related to retirement, but also looking at, do I have any outstanding debts? Are there any other variables that are hindering my ability to retire at this point or might create undue expenses for me in retirement? And how do I mitigate some of that volatility and mitigate some of that risk? And again, I think this is where having a plan in place, examining all of these different components is so powerful for somebody to consider who is nearing retirement or even in retirement.
Yeah, perfect. Well, there's a lot to do to get ready for retirement, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And that's why one of the things that Asset Strategies offers, and you don't have to be a client yet to go through this, one of the things that Asset Strategies offers is a ready for retirement review. This is where you can just come in, sit down, talk to a financial advisor like Josh, and talk about where you are, what kind of assets you have in place, what kind of preparation you've done already to be ready for retirement, and then what next steps you would need to take to help yourself, whether you are approaching that transition imminently, or whether it's maybe sometime further in the future. What kind of steps you can take to be more ready for retirement. So, Josh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Roy.
All right, and thank you.